Right, well, good morning everyone and welcome to the workshop. Well, I call it the workshop, I suppose people would maybe call it the kitchen, such as it is. This is Debbie's bike, which is the Carrera Vulcan, I believe it is. She's managing quite well with it, but we decided that a little bit of help in the form of a battery in the motor might help. So we have now purchased the Yose Power conversion kit, which I've unboxed here. Just quickly go through what we've got. Few odds and ends. Obviously we have the main thing is your wheel with the motor, which hopefully will be fairly straightforward to swap in, and the other main component is your battery and the controller, which will go on the down tube. We'll get onto that in a few minutes. There's plenty of wiring. Got a little display for the handlebars. There are some brake levers supplied, which we're not going to use on this at the moment because it has hydraulic brakes. We're going to see what it's like without them. If need be, there are some other switches that we can put on to sort of cater for switching the motor off when you're braking, but generally you're not pedalling when you're braking, so I think we might get away with that, but we'll just see anyway. There are a good selection of tools supplied in the kit as well. So obviously to get the cassette off, get the crank off to put the pedal sensor on, all that sort of thing. So we'll go through them as we're progressing. So I think the first thing, I've been looking through the instructions, which is quite unusual. First thing I think we'll have a look at is getting the battery mounted and see how we're doing with that. So if you bear with me, we can get into that. It does have a key which locks the battery onto the controller. So basically we have the battery there, and the controller is simply going to be mounted onto the fastenings for the bottle holder. So I'm going to grab a couple of bolts and we'll get that on, and then we'll come back to you once I've got that in place. So back with you shortly. Okay, so we have a couple of bolts which basically are what we're already holding the bottle cage on. There are some little rubber grommets, shall we call them, that goes on to stop the battery mount from moving around. Obviously it's a flat plate going onto a curved surface, so they should just hold it on nicely like that. Get the first one started. Now, these are the actual bolts that held the bottle on in the first place, so I'm hoping that they will be suitable and give clearance for the battery to get on, so we'll have to have a look at that in a second. And that's how we don't do it. So nice one for the outtakes here. Right, so we now have to get this one fitted into the other screw boss in here, a little bit fiddly, but we'll get there in a second. Alright, I think that's starting to get in there. Right, there we go. I don't know if I mentioned earlier on the cost of these things. I think we paid just over £300, I think about £330 for the kit. And the bike, Debbie bought it second hand. It's virtually unused, but it was £150. So basically we're talking quite a cheap e-bike overall. So shall see how it performs. Bear in mind I've got myself an e-bike which you'll no doubt see in future videos, which I think was in the region of £3,000, so obviously it's a downside cheaper. Okay, so we now have that in place, and put the tools away, and then we're expecting that the battery, oops, there, the battery will just pop in on there to make sure that is out. And possibly not, it looks like the bolts might be causing a bit of a problem. Right. Yeah, I think it's the bolts. Right, I think we need to get some flatter bolts and then come back to that. Right, okay guys, managed to get it on. The problem was the bolts that were initially holding the bottle on were like these sort of things, so they've got quite a big head on it, and that protruded slightly and got in the way of the battery, so the ones I had to put on more like this, so you can see the difference hopefully between them. And I also had to put a couple of, because there's a boss on the back here for an extra bottle cage as it were, so you could have two on, and the bolt that was in that was protruding too far and just catching the end of the battery there, so it wasn't going in. But the battery's now fully in there, so no worries at all. It just lifts out quite nicely, so that's all pretty secure on there, and battery just slots in nicely, and we can lock that in place so that it's good and secure, not going to go anywhere. Right, so that's that little bit done. I think we're going to get the back wheel out now and see about changing the wheel over. So the existing tyre hopefully is going to go under that new wheel. I've also bought some slime filled inner tubes, because obviously taking these wheels off once the kit is fitted is maybe not the best of ideas, because you obviously got wiring to deal with as well as the actual tyre. So hopefully to stop punctures and what have you, we'll try these new inner tubes and see what they're like. So I'll go and get a few tools for that and get the tyre off and the other one back on, and then we'll see where we're going from there. So back shortly. Right, slight change of plan. I was going to do the back wheel next, but I'll probably have to turn the bike round to do that, turn it around in the stand. So I've decided well, I'll go at fitting the pedal assist sensor, which is this little guy here, which just basically goes in behind the crank on the bike there. So we'll see if we can get this crank off using the supplied tools. So we'll see how easy or otherwise this is. So pretty much you get this first bit in and then screw that in. Pretty much that goes into the crank arm, and then the second part is used to push the crank arm off the actual bottom bracket. So in theory it should all go quite smoothly, so we'll see how it goes. Right, so we've got that pretty well in there now. So we've got the other bit now that goes in there and sort of screws in. Just actually going to tuck these wires through the other side a little bit out the way, makes life easier, and see if we can get this crank arm off and then see how it goes. I'm tempting fate here and hoping that the pedal assist sensor will go on pretty straightforward, because I think depending on the model of bike, I know some people I've seen on YouTube that had issues where they possibly had to adapt it or get different ones. So we'll see what happens, and hopefully this one's dead straightforward. We shall see. First problem then, I'm going to take the bike out of the stand because you need to get a bit more leverage on this, so come back to you in a minute. Okay guys, so a little bit of brute force and ignorance, because these things are pretty tight, so needed to get a bit more leverage on it. But basically, screw that into that one, pushes this off, and this now has slackened this off. So basically, we now need to see if the pedal sensor is going to play games. So we'll just see if we can get this fitted on. Again, haven't had a dry run of this at all, so this is as you see it. So let's just see what happens. And I think that's going on pretty well, I think. Needs a little bit pushing on, I think, so we'll just get that in there, and I think that is pretty much it. It's located, there's little locating lugs that it goes into, and then the actual crank turns within that. So yeah, that looks like it's pretty much there. So all that remains now then is to pop the crank and the pedal back on. Oop. Here we go. Just get this little thing out of here, and then that is pretty straightforward from what I was expecting, to be honest. So let's sort of get this all put back in place. So obviously, let's see where the other pedal is, and ours goes in on that orientation, and we're in there, and there is obviously a bolt to hold that in. Use this one here, so pop him back in and get that nipped up if we can, and then see how it fits. So, yeah, using some of the tools supplied, so it's a pretty comprehensive toolkit. Obviously you need a few of the bits and pieces for things, but generally it seems that the toolkit does the job. So you don't need much more than what is supplied. Right, so that's all I think in place there. So I'll now have a go at getting this back wheel out, change the tyre over, or put the tyre onto the other wheel, and then we'll take it from there. So back shortly. So we have the wheel, disc on, cassette on, tyre on, inner tube. Had to take the rim tape out of the old wheel as well, because the new one doesn't come with the rim tape, so make sure that you do that, otherwise you're going to have a lot of punctures. Alright, so we just need to try and get this back in to the bike. So basically, same as putting any wheel in, but you do have location things with this now. So we'll just see if we can get this put in, see how easy or otherwise it is. Just looking for see how the disc's doing. Right, so we're pretty much getting there. What I'm doing, I'm taking the nuts off, I think, or backing them right off, because there are these locating pegs which have to go in the cutouts, obviously to stop the wheel sort of turning. So I'm just taking these nuts out. And get these just down to there really, that should do. And then see how we can get this in to where it needs to be. Which I think is not a million miles off actually. Just drop into the cutouts there. Oh, there we go. The only thing that's sticking it here is the I've got the chain wound up a little bit. Bring that out a bit. A little bit of a jiggle to get into the little disc brake, and then I think we're in. Alright guys, that's the back wheel in. I'm just going to recenter the brake caliper a little bit because it seems to be just dragging a little bit on the back brake, so just get that recentered and then all will be well. So basically just slackening the mounting bolts off. And then apply the brake to sort of centre the caliper, and then while you're holding the brake, just you can see obviously my arm at the moment, but I'm just holding onto the brake lever just to keep that in the right place there. So that should be nicely centralised. A little bit more awkward this one with having this rear carrier on. I suppose I could have taken it off, but we're just about done with it anyway. So right, so that's gone pretty well and sorted there. So back wheel all sorted. New tube. We have the slime filled one in. So basically we need to look at getting the motor connected up, I suppose, and we'll have a look and see how we're going from there. Have a look at a bit of wiring while we're down this end, I think. Right, so I think I will turn it around and then you can see what we're doing on the other side. Right guys, so we've got all the back wheel sorted there now, got the wiring there. I think what I want to do is just temporarily connect a few pieces up, and then we can just check to make sure that everything is working. So obviously we've got cables here which need plugging in, along with our wiring loom here. So let's have a look and see what we've got. So nice bunch of cables. Oh, there we go. We should have to see what that one is. So you've got one cable there and a longer cable with a multiple things on it. So yeah, it's one of these. I think we better read the instructions because the pedal sensor plugs into that little one there, and obviously we have to get your major one there connected, which takes everything else out. So I think we'll have a look at the instructions and then we'll come back in a second. Right guys, so a little while later, we have the wire from the rear end from the motor. The little short one comes up and into that, so that's going to have to be sort of into the battery that way. That's going to have to be tied onto that onto this downcomer, I think, because can't put it along the bottom because it's a bit too close. Everything's a bit too neat down there. The other cable we've got is the one with the multi-connectors on the end. I can just have a look at that now. So yeah, we have these. The only one I've plugged in up to now is the controller, which we've got here, and just making sure that the thing is working at the moment anyway. The thumb throttle that it comes with, haven't decided yet whether we want to put that on or not, but you have to take the handlebar grips off because it slides on, it doesn't sort of come apart, so we'll come on to that one. And again, the brake switches, so basically these three may be redundant. We'll see how things go, whether we need them or not. So basically I'm just going to tidy the wiring up and then see exactly what we've got, but so far so good. A nice little feature I think that some people don't know about is that it has a walking mode. So the switch at the bottom here, the minus one, basically these are the switches for changing the setting, basically. So 2, 3, 4, 5 and so on, and knock it down the other way. So go down to 1, go down to 0. If you press and hold this 0 button, what happens is the back wheel is now moving. So the idea there is that if you're going uphill, walking uphill with the bike, you don't have to actually push it, it can push itself, which is a really handy thing to have. There's quite a few hills that we're going to be going up where I'm sure Debbie will be pleased with that. So yeah, looking good so far. I'm going to call a halt there because it's about tea time, and we'll see how it goes. But all in all, it's looking pretty good. Looking nice and neat, I think, in terms of what we've got there. And tidy the wiring up a little bit, and then we'll be about ready for a test ride, I think. So yep, so it'll be all good stuff shortly. So so far so good. We'll come back to you in not too long. We'll get it out on the road and have a little play. So this is where we've got to. Pretty much ready to ride. So we have back end all sorted out nicely here. We've got the cabling going up and into the sort of harness area here, and utilising the bag, which I think is not a bad idea. It allows the excess cable to be tucked away nicely. Don't know how much you'll see here, but there is a little bit of cable in there, but still plenty of room for tools and what have you. We have the controller on the bars here. I'm keeping this quite simple actually. We're not going to bother with the thumb throttle. It's something that we don't really need. And I think, as I said when I was doing the mechanics earlier, this has hydraulic brakes, so we haven't got the actual motor cut-offs for that. And I'm just going to see if they're needed. If so, we'll put them on. If not, I think we'll just sort of run it as it is. So that means that we have a few little connectors here which are not used, so I've insulated them, good bit of tape over them, just made them nice and neat. But overall I think it's quite a neat installation. So we'll get kitted up and have a ride down the road, see how it goes. Back to you shortly. Right, so we're moving away there. That's in power assistant number 2. Getting up that hill. So easy. I think I can still hear the drone behind. Let's go to number 3. If I put that down to 0, yeah, I'm having to pedal it by itself there now. Not too bad. We'll go for number 1. Number 2. Yeah. Hopefully we'll get under the bridge without hitting something. Alright, so we're well up the gears there. And riding up this hill, I'm hardly doing anything. It's going really well. Bit too sensitive, I think. We'll have to have a play with that. But yeah, going pretty well all the way up there. Right, I think that's where we'll stop now and bring the oh, hang on. Right, and if you'd remember to switch the microphones on here, we might have had some sound, but this was a little trip up to Kiel there, having a ride through the forest, and as you can see, Debbie was really enjoying herself. No problems at all. In fact, I was having trouble keeping up with her. Most certainly a very, very good conversion. Well impressed with it. Hey, there we go. Right, so we've got a bit of a hill here, which I'm going to put into maximum assist on the ribble. And then with a bit of luck, Debbie's going to come flying past me, like she did the other day. Right, so I'm in my bottom gear here, and here she comes. Hello, hey. Enjoying it? And that looks pretty effortless. And I know Debbie won't mind me saying she's a bit of a novice on the bike world at the moment, but she's loving it and smashing that hill. That's a 10% there. And no problem at all. Oh, there's me panting and puffing. Oh.
Hey!
Oh. How was that then?
Brilliant!
Yeah. Wow. That proves it. I can get my words out. It proves that system works well.
Yeah.
You're not panting as much as me.
No, not quite. I could have taken it slower, but it was just so easy.
What level were you in there?
I got right up to 5 at the top.
Did you?
Yeah.
Good. Right, so we just got back from our little test ride there on the hill where Debbie thrashed me up the hill on this Yose Power conversion. It's just a tryout of this thing, really. I mean, we got the bike here as a standard mountain bike, which we paid £150 for.
We did.
Yep, yep. Whilst Debbie managed it okay, we decided that a little bit of assistance would be good, because I'm running a Ribble e-bike anyway, and it would seem unfair for me just to have the assistance. So we've come up to Kiel there, up in Northumberland, a lovely part of the world. We've been doing a little bit of riding around, and I think, as we saw on the previous clip, a 10% hill where I was panting and puffing going up there, and Debbie just breezed past me. Yeah, so you rode the bike a little bit beforehand, before we converted.
I did,
Yeah.
just a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. And you managed that okay?
I did manage that okay. It was absolutely brilliant going from just a bicycle to be able to just go where I want, when I want, up hills, no problem.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, did it take much getting used to?
No, it didn't. I think it took about 5 minutes. And after that, it was just a question of really watching the gears, getting them in the right gear, and using the electric part of the bicycle correctly. And I soon got used to it. I absolutely love it.
Great, great. I think I mentioned when we were doing the hill climb bit, you're still a bit of a novice in the bicycle world.
I think I'm a bit more than a bit of a novice.
So come on then, what's your sort of history on the bicycle?
Oh, my history on the bicycle. I had one when I was in my teens. I had one a bit later on, and I gave up completely. And then I just decided to start up again with an old bicycle. And then we found this beautiful thing for sale, and got hold of that. And it wasn't long before that we decided it would be a good idea to convert it to an electric bicycle, partly because of my great age. I was 79 yesterday.
Happy birthday!
Too late. And it just made the perfect birthday present, to be honest. And yes, I could still ride it without having the conversion, but this makes life so much more pleasant and enjoyable.
Yeah, no, that's what I've found. I mean, I've got the Ribble e-bike, which has put the enjoyment back into riding for me, because I don't have to worry about headwinds and hills and things like that. But I think the conversion we've just done on Debbie's bike is way more powerful, I think, than what I've got. So yeah, it just shows, because I think cost-wise, as you say, I think we paid £150 for the bike.
That's right.
And the conversion was just over 300, 330, I think. Something like that.
Yeah.
So for short of £500, you've got a really usable bike there.
Yeah, can't say more than that.
Yeah, great stuff. Right, so we'll no doubt be giving a few more ideas and impressions of the thing as we go on in time, because we go back home tomorrow, unfortunately. The holiday's over.
Yeah.
So we'll leave it there, I think, and see what happens in our cycling exploits in the weeks and months to come.
Yeah.
Right. Catch you all later. Bye.
Bye.